It's a meditation. For me, I don't know what it is. It just gets my mind off things. It clears my mind. It's life. You're not always happy, and running does that for me. It makes me happy.
Hey there, and welcome to Through Their Stride, a podcast where I tell the stories of the Texas Hill Country runners and run the routes that they know best. This podcast is more than about pace and mileage. It's about telling the stories about the runners you pass on the sidewalk on your daily commute. The ones who show up rain or shine, or in hot days like this. Each episode, I'll join a local runner on one of their favorite routes and hear the story of the why behind their run. This is Through Their Stride. I'm Sam Sutton. Let's get into it. Welcome to this will be episode 4 of Through Their Stride, and I'm joined by Iain Turner. So Iain, thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Sam. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Iain is an ultra marathoner mainly. He does a lot of 50Ks and 100Ks and done a couple hundred miles?
I've done 6 now. It'll be my 6th in September.
Okay, wow.
Got one coming up soon.
Awesome. And so, and originally you are from Australia, is that correct?
Yes, originally from Grafton, New South Wales, Australia.
Okay.
Grew up there, and then I moved to Africa, and then that's where I met my wife, but where she was studying at A&M, doing a veterinary school. And then I met her over there in Africa while I was over there, and then I moved back over here. So
Awesome.
and the rest is history, as they say.
Cool. And you said you're a wildlife biologist, is that correct?
Yes, I am. My wife and I own an exotic wildlife veterinary service, and I went to university and got my wildlife science degree. And then, now I'm a wildlife biologist, and I work for exotic wildlife veterinary service.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll start into your running journey. So you told me when you got started what year did you get started? And you said a little bit that you didn't like it at first.
Yeah, I didn't like it. As a kid, I didn't like it. I loved sports, but I just didn't like the whole thing of going out and running. Like cross country for school was never my thing. I don't know what it was. I just didn't like it. I was a little bit of a chubbier kid too, but I loved playing tennis, cricket, rugby, kind of all those kind of sports in Australia. But when I came over here, I was really into going out and working out at the gym, but I wanted to do some cardio, so I just started running. I think I did a mile, and then it's like less, 1.6 Ks. So when I first did it, I was still thinking of it in kilometers. But then I just kept on adding on, and I ended up running my first 5K, like just by myself. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I kind of enjoy it. And it was different to the gym. So just started from there.
That's funny. You say you were thinking about it in Ks, and I want to say the weird way, but really it's the normal way, because the only one who think about it in miles is Americans. So.
Yeah, it's funny though. Sometimes on my runs, I know it as miles, but in my head, you kind of do a mathematician thing where it's like, okay, how many miles have I done? And then you work out how many Ks, and then kind of just go from there. And I don't know. It's a weird thing when I'm running. I like to do math in my head, and it'd just be random numbers that pop into my head.
That's funny.
That's so funny.
Awesome. And so you did a 5K, and somewhere along the way you hit ultras. And how did that come about? And what was the story going to that?
So I listened to your first podcast, and Caleb started around 2017, 2018. That was kind of when I started too. I did my first marathon. I kind of went from 5K to 10K and then skipped the half marathon and went straight to a marathon. And I did my first one in Bryan College Station.
Okay.
And it went well, but it didn't go as well as planned. Like the whole run, I can't really do gels. And I started my nutrition and hydration, kind of like everyone. You're a rookie, your first marathon, you don't know what you're doing, so you kind of I didn't really. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just grab stuff along the way. Like I didn't have my hydration vest or anything. I was like, I don't need that. It didn't look cool. Whatever.
Yeah, it didn't look cool.
Yeah. So I had to grab hydration from the aid stations, and then the goo gels. I'm not a big fan, but I know some people are, so I'm not going to diss any brand or anything. But I couldn't stomach it. Maybe it might be different now, but it was rough. And after that first marathon, I think I finished in 3 hours and 45 minutes or something. It was under
Still
4 hours.
incredible.
My goal was to finish under 4 hours. I was like really wanting that.
Yeah.
And I did that, which I was happy with. But you finish and your body goes, yeah, you just did something you don't do very often. And yeah, it definitely hurt us. I mean, I was in the shower and kind of, I was feeling everything and it was like I was puking everywhere, if I'm going to be honest. It
Yeah.
wasn't a great time.
Your body rebelled.
Yeah, my body rebelled a lot. But my wife goes, "So we're done with running?" I was like, "No, I want to keep going." Like I never had the feeling of like I just wanted to quit. It was a feeling of like I can do better.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know, maybe I'm weird like that, or I feel like every runner has that in them. Like they just like I can do a little bit better.
Yep.
You can always follow a nutrition plan, do better at hydration. Your running can get better. It's just you become a better runner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome. So I did that one, and then COVID hit, and that was kind of a downer. And I kind of was running, but I was kind of plateauing. I was following like coaching just offline, online, and everything, and it wasn't very good. Like I would just go out and do running, and like I'd try and do some workouts, but it wasn't very good. And I felt like I was plateauing. And I just because of COVID, there wasn't any marathons going on, so I made up one where I did it around Fredericksburg. Like it was just myself, and I had a mate on a bike, and he was like my aid station. So we'd make it every 3 or 4 miles, and I'd have an aid station where he'd pass me a drink or something like food or whatnot. And I did it in like 4 hours and 20, and I was like so
Oh,
disappointed in
it's like way
myself.
worse.
Yeah, it was shocking. Like I just had a bad time,
Was it
and
the hills, maybe?
yeah, I honestly think it was the hills. It was like I cramped, and it wasn't even hot. It was in the fall, so it wasn't autumn in Australia, but the fall, and it was yeah, it just I just didn't do very well, and I was just kind of like disappointed. And talked to my wife Brittany, and I was like, I'm just plateauing. Like I'm not getting any worse. I'm not getting any better. Like I mean, 4 hours 20 minutes compared to three and a half,
Probably a
45.
different course though. So
Different course, so
yeah.
um, it just was. Yeah, I was like, I need something. So we started looking to running coaches, and Brittany stumbled across Ryan Miller, and he had coached a few people, but I feel like in that time he was kind of just getting into it. He just got into trails, but he had just ran like a 2 hour, 14-minute marathon. Like he's very w- well recognized in the marathon world, and then just started getting into the trail world when I met him. And yeah, he's been coaching me ever since, and it's been great. He's a great coach, and he's a great guy, just a good down to earth guy, and has always helped me when I'm running. So yeah.
Nice.
So and then after that, sorry, long story short, that's
No,
how I
yeah,
got
keep going.
into it.
Yeah.
Did the COVID thing, and I was like, oh, I kind of like doing like I've kind of dabbling stuff. He's like, well, there's no marathons going on right now, so let's kind of aim for that was in 2020, and he's like, let's aim for a ultra in 2021, early 2021. So I did the um, Cody Trail Run in Cleburne, Texas,
Yeah.
and I got I think it was I got six in that one.
Yeah.
And it
That's
took
incredible.
yeah, I did pretty well. I think it was just over it was like 6 hours or something. I can't exactly remember the time, but it was decent. I was pretty happy with it.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, and then yeah, it just kind of went from there. That was my first ultra marathon, and yeah, it was rough. You kind of go into it, you're running trails, and it's completely different to road running. Like there's tree roots, there's more climbing and whatnot. And I thought I was really good, and I decided to bomb down a hill, and I came with guts there and just fell over and like hurt
Mm.
my IT band. So that was always
No.
fun. But I ended up picking up and kind of carrying on and just finished it out. But it was definitely rough.
Man,
Yeah.
that's painful.
Yeah, it was rough, but
Uh,
you kind of just move on, and it was good. Like I felt good about that one. It was nice. I learned a lot of stuff about my nutrition in that one too, because there's always something, and I always kind of cramp a little bit. So I'm just trying to every race I kind of dial in something different. So,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I've never done an ultra, but like in the marathon, you like you said, you always dial in something different, whether it's pacing,
hmm
fueling, um, mindset even, like, you learn something new at each race, and
Yes.
it's almost like you figure something out, like, it's
Yeah.
an aha moment when it happens.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Sometimes I feel like I make the same mistake over and over
Oh,
again.
yeah, for sure.
It's like, especially now that I do these 100-mile races, I feel like I make a few mistakes the same, but
Mhm.
eventually I learn from it and I pick up tips. Like now I used to have to carry like a big hoodie or something like when I'm running overnights, but now I just use a tip where uh I just have one of those emergency blankets
Uh-huh.
and I just fold it in half and cut a hole, like usually just tear a hole in the top with my teeth. I
Mhm.
just put it so the hole will put my head through it, and I put my
Nice.
rain jacket on, and you need to take it off within 5 minutes. It's
Yeah,
just warm. It's warmer than anything, and it's less bulky. So,
that's amazing.
yeah. So just like tips and that. Actually, I was pacing a friend at a 200-mile race, and he was cold and whatnot. I was like, okay, give me a emergency blanket. Let's do this. And he was like, dude, that was amazing. That was a
Yeah.
lifesaver. Yeah, it was great.
Um, just thinking about that. On the episode that will air the weekend before this, which
Hmm.
is this coming weekend, by the time as we're recording, Cody Carnett said he
Ah,
was
yeah.
like, the majority of ultra marathoning is problem solving,
Yep.
and it's just that sounds kind of like what that was. Like,
Yeah.
you solved a problem with a blanket.
Yes. That I would 100% agree with Cody. He's a good guy, and yeah, I definitely come across a lot of problems,
Yeah.
and I usually solve them not just by myself. I usually have my wife Brittany is my crew chief, and
Mhm.
I'm not usually too worried because she's pretty good at problem solving and kind of sometimes I just leave it up to her.
There
Like
you
it's just
go.
like, yep, sounds great. Like I'm just gonna go and run and you just solve the problem for me. It's great.
Yeah.
But it does help having someone on your side there that's I mean, and she's been at pretty much every race. I think maybe some of the 50Ks that I've done, she doesn't come just because it's in the morning, I'll get it done and I'll be home. So she's, oh, I'm not going to come to that one. But my 100Ks and 100 milers, she's there to crew me and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's pretty special.
Um, that's awesome. And my next thing I was going to say was, as far as marathons
Hmm.
and ultra marathons go, you said you've done marathons before.
Yes.
Um, first off, I guess, which one would you say you like more, the distance of a marathon or a distance of like 100K?
I like the distance of 100 mile.
Yeah, 100 mile.
Yeah,
All
that's my
right.
favorite distance.
Really?
Brittany would like me to do probably should like me to do a 5K probably. But she she prefers that I don't know, I just love being out there in doing 100 miles. It's just my favorite distance.
All
I'll
right.
usually do one. I'd done a couple of years in a row where I did two in 1 year, and it just kind of almost burnt me out a little bit. So
Yeah.
just kind of life gets in the way. So I'm just going to try and do one a year. But there's special moments my biggest goal is now to get into Hard Rock, Western States, Leadville, and UTMB. And that's like my four. But I need to do races to qualify to get into those. So
Yeah. What? So explain. Like I said, I'm new to the ultra space, just learning about it. So qualifying for those, what does that look like, and how do, like, time wise?
yeah. So it can be confusing even for me a little bit. Some of them aren't really very easy to pick, but like with Western States, Hard Rock, um, Leadville, I'm not entirely sure on, so I'm not going to speak on that one. But I know you need to qualify, and there's certain races. But with your Western States and your Hard Rocks, there's certain races within all over the world that are Hard Rock and Western States and UTMB qualifies. But UTMB, there's a different aspect to it. I mean, I'll talk on that. But you just have to finish in the time cutoff,
Okay. So
and
kind of like
then
Boston.
yes, exactly, but these time cutoffs for 100 miles can be like 38 hours, 30. I think the lowest one for me was 32 hours. Um, and you just have to finish under that. And then put your name, that will give you tickets, and you'll put your name into a lottery at the end of every year for those races. I'll put it into a lottery and you'll either get picked or you won't get picked. But if you don't get picked, you're your tickets will roll over to the next year, but you still have to do another race to be able to be put in for lottery the next year.
Gotcha.
So you can't. I'm pretty sure you cannot like even if you had tickets, you cannot put in for that lottery next year. You still have to do a
Still have
race.
to qualify.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I may have misspoke there, but that's how I understand it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. But yeah, and then UTMB is depending on the race that you do. So you can do because there's 5 different races at UTMB. And you can do a 25K, 50K, 100 miler, 100K, and then there's like some bigger ones, like a 240 miler. There's some really big ones there. But if you do a 100-mile race, a qualifying race, you can use that to go into any of those smaller, like the 100K, 50K, 25K,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't use a 25K race to go into like one up. So, but you have to earn running stones and you have to have a certain amount of running stones. So the races that you can do, like there may be smaller ones that you can do, and they'll get you 1 or 2 running stones. But then there's your world majors, and I think there's 4 or 5. I think they just added some in the United States, and they're worth like 6 running stones.
Wow.
And you need a certain amount of running stones to be able to even get into the lottery to be able to go into there. But
Interesting.
there's a better chance of you getting into UTMB because it's a bigger race.
Yeah.
There's 2,500 people running it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, so you have a higher chance of getting into it.
And you've done UTMB, is that correct?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get into it last year, and that was yeah. I when I found out, I cried in the car. It was like a dream come true. Brittany and we were driving to work, and I was opening my emails, and I was like, she's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "We're going to France." She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I got into UTMB and I just started crying."
Oh.
And like, it was great. I loved it. I had a, yeah, that, if you ever get into the ultras and you want to do, I want to just go back to be there for the atmosphere. It's just a great week of like, I mean, like minded people. Everybody loves running and
Yeah.
beautiful over there. But it's through the 100-mile race is through you start in Chamonix, France, and you go through Italy, Switzerland, and then back to Chamonix, France. So you do a loop of Mont Blanc. And it's one of the prettiest course that I've ever been on.
That's awesome.
And the people are amazing. The aid stations are great. They've got fresh bread, fresh dried meat, fresh cheese. Like it's just great
The
over
aid
there.
stations at ultras are so different than
Yeah,
marathons.
it's funny though. From what I've heard, the European aid stations are a lot different to like the American ones. Like, and don't get me wrong, I feel like in America, a lot more of the races are in more remote areas. So, I mean, it's hard to get stuff too. Like a lot of the races that I'm doing, they're having to horseback stuff into
Wow.
actual places. Yeah, they may be out of the range. So honestly, just that they're there is a big accomplishment. And the volunteers that are doing this, like they're out there for 4 or 5 days. They're not just out there for the race. They're probably out there setting it all up a day before and then the race and then afterwards packing it all up. So they're amazing. Like none of these races, and even with like road races, volunteers like the heart and soul of it. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
very cool.
Um, Man, yeah, I didn't think about that. Just taking stuff out like to remote areas, it's
Hmm.
gonna be pretty difficult.
Yeah, so like in Europe, it's like I mean, I'm sure there is a lot more. There is remote places, but I feel like it is very accessible. A lot of places in Europe, you can just get to a lot more places. But in America, like I did one in Wyoming Range in Wyoming, and it was very remote.
Yeah, Wyoming,
Yeah,
it's yeah,
there's aid stations were just camping out there, like they just be out there for the whole weekend. It was beautiful.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said your favorite is the 100 miler, which I
Hmm.
can't that. But what do you love personally, just about ultras, about going long for long periods of time,
um,
spiritually and physically as well, I guess.
it's it's a meditation for me. I don't know what it is. It just gets my mind off thing. It clears my mind. Just like even recently, like just you're just not always. It's life. You're not always happy, and and running does that for me. It makes me happy. I like to. I'm just out there by myself, like you said, problem solving, doing a lot of stuff. Usually, like I'm on the course by myself, I'll have a pacer probably after mile 60 or something. But most of the time, I'm out there just plodding away. I'll listen to podcasts or I'll listen to music, but sometimes I just turn the music off and just listen, just think about things, and just makes life a lot simpler. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do love, like I mean, I don't go that far yet, but
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
yeah, I know, I did say yet this time. I think I told Caleb, like, never, but I'm starting to get the it. But,
We'll
but
turn him into a
yeah.
trail runner.
But, like, especially, like, the fall, winter time when it's, like, it gets dark earlier,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but getting off of work, coming from home from the office after a stressful day, putting on your long clothes and, like, feeling the cold in the dark, and you're just by yourself and, like, running, like, a 5, 6 miler, it's probably the best feeling in the world because 'cause you're just, like it's just you.
Yeah.
It's the quiet, it's your mind, it's the constant motion, it's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And like I here, because I train, like a lot of my races are elevation. So like out here, I'm kind of just doing cross mountain, or I go out to Enchanted Rock. I do those a lot. So like I'm up and down, and people are like, "How do you do it?" I was like, honestly, I just kind of just set and forget,
Yeah,
just kind of going out, and just it's nice to be out there and not like I like to talk to people, but it's nice like when I'm running by myself, it's just it's my time. Like you always gotta make time for yourself. Like never let anyone tell you you don't, because
yeah.
it's good for you.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're, like, spiritual or religious or anything, but, like, I think you find, like, a higher purpose in those moments, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just when you're by yourself, and like you said, meditating just in the quiet, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah.
And then running out here, this place is beautiful,
Yeah, it's
so,
nice. Very fortunate out here.
yeah,
We hit the jackpot. I mean, Fredericksburg.
mm,
It's a very touristy town, so I mean, it's not cheap to live out here, but it's nice. We got a nice piece of land, and it's nice. We used to live on Trailmore in town, and I loved it in there because you know I was close to Cross Mountain. Like I'd literally run from the house to Cross Mountain, which it's not a mountain, but it's close. What as good as we're gonna get out here, and like there's yeah, it was great. So I loved it in there. But this is nice. It's I can hit Hayden Ranch Road a lot and just kind of there's not many cars, and usually if there is, it's maybe I might see three or four,
yeah.
which isn't bad.
I actually yeah, when we were riding today, I think there was, like, 2 that we
Yeah,
came across, so
yeah,
that was awesome, and I had never been out there, I mean, that was beautiful, but also, yeah, very hilly.
yeah. It is very hilly. It
Yeah.
it is very hilly out here for sure. It's I think it's a if I go from my house all the way to the end and then all the way to this end and then back, it's just over 10 miles. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, it's nice.
Um, and so do you got anything that you're training for right now?
Yeah, so I'm training for the Bear 100 in Utah.
Oh,
Yeah, so it
yeah.
goes from Logan, Utah, all the way to Bear Lake, Idaho. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's a point to point. Um, so that's on the 25th of September.
Why that one?
Well, well, one, it's a Hard Rock Western State UTMB qualifier, and then it's just beautiful. It's going to be in the fall. Like I watch a lot of YouTube videos on it, and it's just the fall colors, all the aspens and everything. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I had a friend do it last year, and he crushed it. I can't remember what his time was. I want to say it was under 30 hours, which for that amount of vert and that like I think it's like 22,000 feet of climbing. Yeah, I mean, it's 36-hour cutoff, so I want to do under 30 hours, but that's a tough ask. Like
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough, but I'll finish. It's
yeah,
just we'll see how what time.
yeah. But, I was also gonna say, you were talking to me while we were running, I think you told me before we did this that you were an average runner,
Yeah,
and then you said you got 6th at a race, and then you said you got 1st at a race.
yeah.
So, I'm like, "That's pretty above average."
Yeah,
But
I was fortunate enough to win 100K, which is I never thought I'd ever do. Like it was honestly surprising. Um, but yeah, it was out at Camp Eagle at Rock Springs. It was the J&J Trail um, run, and yeah, it's held by Tejas Trails. And it was good. They used Camp Eagle like as a secondary location for Bandera. They call it Bandera Eagle. Um, and it's a tough. I would honestly, personally, I feel like it's tougher than Bandera, just because it's a little bit more hilly. There's a lot more rocks, but it's nice out there. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was finished in 14 hours, and I think 14 hours and 44 minutes or something like that, and
Did
I was happy.
did you know you were gonna win, or, like, when did you kinda start to feel like, "Oh, this is gonna be, like,
It
a
was
good
a
finish?"
it was a weird one because you didn't there was, like, because it was kind of still the whole COVID thing going on, it was like it was 2021, but it was, like, the start of 2021, so COVID was still kind of around, and I was,
Very
like,
in the
still
mainstream.
taking, like, precautions with it, and they did, like, not like a set time, they did, like, a rolling start.
Okay.
So, at first, most of the people that were running the 100K were started that time, but there was also some 50Ks in there, so I didn't know exactly, but after I think it was 4 loops, 4 yeah, I think 4 or 3 or 4 loops. After, like, the 2nd or 3rd loop, I can't remember, I had 1 more loop, I figured out that I was in 1st place, and there's just one other guy that I thought might have caught me, but because he started a little later, but he actually ended up finishing like maybe 4 hours after me. So it
Oh,
was it ended up being that he was like 2 hours after me with the times with the rolling start and everything. So
yeah.
ended up working out. Yeah. So it was funny because we stayed there the night before, and Brittany's like, "Well, if you can finish in this amount of time, we'll drive home." And I was like, "Okay, let's go,"
Yeah.
because I just wanted to get home, and you know, after 100K, you kind of just want to sleep in your own bed. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm very fortunate that like Logan, I'm going to Utah, but I try and do a lot of my races out of state. Very fortunate that we've got a job that we can do that with, but I just like to see the world and see different places, different experiences. It's just
Yeah.
see different parts of the country. That's like another goal of mine is to probably run at least a 50K in every state. But I would love to make it a goal to do a
50/50.
hundred, yeah, 50-50, or do 100 miles in every state. That would be my
Wow.
goal.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, and you even said earlier while we were running that if you're gonna do an ultra race, try to do it not in Texas because it's just the scenery is
Yeah, I'm not hating on Texas
No, Texas is
races.
great. I love
Texas
Texas.
is great, but I like point to point races, and a lot of the Texas races
Are
are
loops.
loops. So it definitely like it can get to you a little bit, but if you aren't fortunate enough, or you if that's all you got, do it. I'm
Yes.
not gonna ever hate on anyone, not, but yeah, I'm I struggle with it. I just did a 50K out at Garner State Park, and it's beautiful, but it was one of the hardest races, one of the hardest 50Ks I've
Yeah.
done.
Elevation or
Yeah, elevation. It's nearly 8,000 feet by the end of it, and I was like, "Ooh, that was tough."
man, that'd be pretty though. Garden State Park's awesome.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a great race. I loved it, and I'll do it every year, mainly because it's got a lot of elevation. Like I'm a sucker for punishment, so
That's awesome.
yeah. But definitely, if you can, definitely get out there and see the world. I guess that's just what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
get out there and see the world. I've done Bandera a couple of times, not the 100K, but I've done the 50K a couple of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, get out there and see different parts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And, I know we're getting kind of close on time here. What time are we going? Yeah, okay, about 30 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I won't take too much of your time,
No,
but
you're good.
the last few questions, I guess, is for you, if you were to tell somebody, who's thinking, like, maybe they've done a few marathons and they've done a few halves, and they're like, "Well, maybe I'll dabble in the ultra space," but they haven't jumped off the
Hmm.
diving board yet. What would you tell them? What a little bit of motivation would you give them?
Why not?
Yeah.
Like, see what you're made of. Just do it. Like, it's like the old Nike thing. Just do it. I mean, I like to test. I like to see how far I can push it, and kind of uh, just see what my body's made of. And it's just fun. I don't know. Like for me, I'm like I don't want anything to ever get boring. So like I always like to try and challenge myself and do something a little different, which some people might call me crazy or like just like, dang, that's a lot. I'm just like, I just like to see what I can still do. Like, I mean, I'm still young, but it's just like you always want to try and test and not even just your running capability, it's more mental for me. Like, how far can I take this? Like, and you know, my body. I know what my body can do, but it's like my mental capability. Like, it's pretty strong, but there's definitely times where I had. There was one race in California I did, and I got really bad chafe, a little bit
Ooh.
of heat stroke throughout the day. Like, I did a
Oh.
13-mile section, which this was dumb. This was so silly. But I didn't, I, because I was coming back to the same aid station. So I was like, oh, okay, I should be good, but there's another aid station in between, but I should be all right. But I thought I had enough water. I didn't have enough water. It was in the middle of the day and made a rookie mistake. So I got a little bit of heat stroke throughout the day and
Gee.
I cramped up really bad. And then I just got chafe and that was not fun. And I got to the mile 60 aid station and I got there with 5 minutes to spare, so I was going to get cut off, and I was the last one in the aid station, and I was like, I didn't, like I wanted to quit, and Brittany's like, no, you get back out there, you because it was an in and out of it. It was in a town. It's called Forest Hill. It's a major one of the major aid stations on Western States, but this was another race called
Yeah.
Canyons. Um, and I got into that one, and it's like a mile up a road to the aid station, and then you go back down a mile and go down back the same way. And I was like kind of dilly dallying, like in the aid session. I only had
Yeah.
minutes, but it felt like a long time. And I was like, the last second, she's like, okay, you're good. And you get out here. I was like, I really want to change my shirt. She like rips off my shirt, throws on another shirt. She's like, get out there. So I got out of the aid station. I started walking. And it was like between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning. And I started walking down the road and I had my pacer, Roel. He's a great guy. And very high spirited. We call him the trail wizard. And we were walking down that road, and it was just good just to have a mate there, and we're talking. And then we get all the way to the road, and I had to go to the bathroom in one of the porta potties and whatnot. I was the last out of that aid station, and I get out of the porta potty, and I see the sun, and it just changed your mental. I was like, let's go. I
Yeah.
ended up taking probably I overtook like 20 to 30 people
Wow.
and I finished with an hour. The cutoff time was 32 hours. I finished just over 30 hours. So I made up, like, I was 5 minutes before cutoff. So I made up 2 hours,
That sounds
which
a
is,
sunrise.
yeah, that sunrise is just like, we just started. I mean, and my motto for that race was, it hurts either way. So I
Yeah.
could walk it or I could just keep on going. And
Yeah.
I trucked it and it was great,
Yeah.
finished and I felt the greatest the next day. Like I was walking around like some of my other 100 miles, I'm just like, can't even walk. But
Yeah.
that one I felt great. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it was,
That's another thing Cody said was, like, as far as ultras go, like, you start to get to a point where, like, you can't throb any more than you're already throbbing.
yeah,
So, like, just
just do it.
just push through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, there is, like, some areas where, like, if you really hurt, don't push through it,
Yeah.
but usually you'll know, like, is it just, like, a pain that's been there, or is it, like, an actual severe pain? Like, I haven't ever had a really bad pain. I did a race in Alaska, and I did because of the road, it was along the Alaskan highway, Denali Highway, so it was from, Paxton Alaska to I forget the town. That's terrible of me, but it was 135 miles, and it was on a road, and it started off just a nice paved road, but then it got to dirt road, and like the pitch of the road was really bad, and I ran on one side for too long. I should have
Uh-huh.
switched it, gone between. So if you ever do that, run.
Overuse.
Yeah. So I overused my IT band, and it just was a killer. Um, and Brittany actually, she doesn't run at all, and she paced me for 20 miles and that. Yeah, it was summer solstice, so we ran and it didn't get dark. It was like it got probably this dark the whole night.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it was super weird. I slept for fifth no, like yeah, like 15 minutes the whole race. and it was
Did you hallucinate at all?
that one I didn't really hallucinate. I was just really sore. Brittany paced me for like 20 miles, as I said, but I mean that's pretty crazy because considering I mean, she's done a 10K, and that was maybe 2 years before that. She was hurting a lot the next day too, but um,
Yeah, that's a long way.
yeah, but it was pretty special, right? Like getting to run in Alaska with your wife, summer solstice in like your favorite thing to do. Like that was pretty
Yeah,
magical. Like I love that. That was like that's a memory I won't ever forget.
that's
Like,
awesome,
yeah,
dude.
it was super cool. Yeah.
Um, going back to hallucinations. That's another thing that I'm just very curious
I,
about ultra
I
running.
I've hallucinated.
Yeah.
My first 100 miler, I thought I saw Bigfoot
Oh,
like
jeez.
twice, and it's called the Mongolian monster. So it's like it's in Arizona, and it's called the Mongolian monster. Their mascot is Bigfoot,
Okay.
so or Sasquatch or whatever you want to call him. But yeah, so I was running along a trail. It was just after like 65 miles and running along, and I was eating while I was running, and I look over and I put my headlamp over, and it was in the pines and whatnot, and I look over and I see like eyes, but they're at like human level,
Yeah,
and like I made like a figure out, and of course in my head I'm like,
Bigfoot.
yeah, Bigfoot. I'm like, what is going on here? And I I was like, that's Bigfoot. I'm not going to look over there ever again.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I get a little bit down the road and I look over, it's like making sure it's not, and I see it again. And I'm like, okay. So I just kept on running. I just kept running. And
Your mind really makes you think it's Bigfoot.
yeah, in my
Just
mind, I was scared. I was running by myself like overnight, and I was like, I'm gonna get taken alive by Bigfoot. And then throughout that race, like going into the next evening, like before I finished, it was maybe 10 miles out. I see this, I'm running with my pacer, and I'm like, do you see that RV there? And we're in the middle of the woods. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, there's an RV there. There's someone's cooking meal over there. And he's like, no, there's not. I'm like, yes, it is. We get up to it. It's just a big tree.
oh,
And I'm like, okay, well, something's going on here.
yeah.
Like I'm definitely
I'm in a
hallucinating.
bad way.
Yeah. So, but I got that one done. Like that one was another bad one. I got massive blisters on my feet, and it was just,
Is
but
that the
like,
ones that you said is like Goggins coverable?
yeah, yeah, I definitely put it. I feel like I put it to Goggins' feet there after his, what was it? What's it called? Bad Water episode.
Mhm.
Yeah, my ones there were definitely up there, but it was a rough one. But, I just, after a while, like Cody says, you kind of get numb. Like it's not, you throb, but how much more are you going to throb? You just got to kind of like whatever. And the blisters weren't going to go away. And it was my first 100-mile race. And I'm like, I'm not quitting this thing just because of some blisters. So,
Mhm.
you know, the feet figured it out, and took a while to come back. But I mean, I took a while. It may have taken 2 weeks for the blisters to subside and whatnot, but it
Yeah.
wasn't bad. Like, well, it was bad, but I was like, I'm not going to run for 2 weeks anyway. So what?
Yeah. What's the recovery time off of something like 100 milers?
It's gotten better ever since like I've started to do them. Like depending on the race and like what's going on, but most of the time I'll be running. Like I'll take a week to a week and a half off, and then I'll be running again.
Mhm.
Um,
Week and a
after I
half,
did
okay.
after I did UTMB, like I got pretty bad blisters there because you're just going up mountains and coming straight back down. So you're just constantly going up, but then your feet are like in your shoes, constantly moving back and forward. But
Oof,
I was
yeah.
I did a 16-mile run the next weekend because we stayed for a week after to travel around. We went to Switzerland. I'm like, there's no way I'm not getting out in the mountains. So I went for a run, and I felt great. Like, yeah, I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And sometimes I just look at it like when I go for runs, I'm just like just thankful for my
Yeah.
body, like
And,
to do that.
that's something that, like, sometimes I'll run into, like, a lot of people, it's like, "You really should take, like, 2 to 4 weeks off after, like, a marathon or something." And I think I understand, like, scientifically, I guess, about
Yeah.
that, but, like, it's so nice that first run back after the race,
Hmm.
like, even if it's, like, a week and a half later,
Yeah.
you're just like, "I know I ran 26 miles, like,
Yeah.
or 100 miles in your case,
Uh
like
huh.
a week ago, but I feel good. It feels so great to move again.
So you know what's funny is I kind of burnt out on running after last year. Like UTMB was great and everything, but like just putting in that training block after like, and I never really took time off, but after taking the time off, like I did like an off season this year, where I started doing some CrossFit and whatnot, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. But I definitely lost that running like fitness, so it's taken me a lot longer to get back to it. Um, so we'll see what I do this year. Like right now, I'm like excited for my race, but we'll see. Like I before uh earlier in the year, I was like, I'm definitely going to take another time off. Like I'm kind of over running right now, but I'm getting that love back and want to be in the mountains. And we'll see. Like there's another race in El Paso in January that I don't know. Maybe I'll train for it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I kind of
El Paso would
see.
be cool.
Yeah, there's some pretty nice mountains out there, like the Davis Mountains and everything. So
Oh, yeah.
I would like and Frank. I think it's the Franklin Mountains there.
You know what? I did do a 10K in the
Yeah.
Fort Davis Mountains
Yeah.
once.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I fell 3 times, but,
It's I've never been out there, but I know a lot of there's a race out there in September called Sky Island, and
mhm,
my trail running friends from San Antonio and that they do it, and they say it's so technical out there.
yeah.
I'm like, okay,
That was my first run back actually from my knee injury, my first race back, and, it was nice. I mean, I it was like an hour and 20 something, like slowest 10K, but
yeah,
like you said, when like the mountains and trails, the time is so different,
yeah,
you
oh
know?
yeah, it is. That's pretty quick to be honest.
Yeah. I was feeling pretty good about it. It was
Yeah,
good.
you should, especially because you don't trail run that often. Like
Yeah. I
it's a
think that's
difference.
why I fell though, because I was going so fast, because like
Yeah,
mentally as a
yeah,
road runner, you know?
yeah.
And then I would just like fall and be like, "Oh," and just like
That's
get right back up, you
yeah,
know?
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, no, it can be a little tricky.
Mhm.
And I don't know what your plans are, but if you ever I think you talked with Caleb before, but if you ever get the chance, I did the New York Marathon. It was amazing.
Really?
Oh, the atmosphere there. Now that was crazy because you have to wake up super early. Depending on where you stay, I had to take the subway, then I had to take a boat, and then a
Oh,
bus.
oh,
Yeah, you take a boat, a ferry across the water to is it Staten Island, and then yeah, you have to take a bus from there to the start line, and so you like I think Caleb mentioned about Boston, like there's really nowhere to like warm up or anything, and it was cold because it's in the fall going into their winter. So I'm cold, especially coming from Texas. You're like,
yeah,
this is really cold, which was nice for my run. I mean that's where I ran at my PR, which is 3 hours and 30, and it was yeah, but every borough you go through 6 different boroughs, and it's just different atmospheres, different cultures. Like
every
it's
different part of New York.
whole every part of that race is lined with people. Like there's not 10 feet that isn't with people on it. It's crazy. And they're all cheering you on. So it's like, how do you not have a great race?
Yeah, I do hear a lot of people say, like, it's one of the best because of that reason, just
Yeah.
so much energy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then you finish in Central Park. It's like awesome. Like I would run that race again
Yeah.
for sure. It was super fun. But I don't see myself going back to doing like any road marathons anytime soon.
Okay, so that's we should wrap this up. Next thing, Cody also said, like, um, road versus trail.
Mhm.
He'd much rather do trail, even if it's like 100 miles, because it feels the road the trail is a lot easier on your legs
Yeah.
than the road is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot easier on your legs. Um, it's probably also depending on where you're running, it's probably also a little bit more scenic
Yeah, for
than just
sure.
the road. But I mean, one day maybe I'll do one. I kind of want to do the world majors. So like,
Mhm.
um, doing Boston. I mean, that would be some training. I definitely want to wait till I'm older to do that because I ain't that fast. But going over and doing like the Sydney Marathon because I'm originally from Australia, so
Yeah.
kind of want to. I'd love to do it where I did a couple of things. Like if I did a trip, I really want to do a 100 miler in Australia because I've got a bunch of mates that run back there. So I'd love to, and my sister runs. So which is funny because my parents never ran, but both of us run. So I'd love to
That's
have her
funny.
pace me, and it'd be a family event. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah,
Cool. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for talking with
No,
me and letting me share some of your stories. This was really inspiring for me. So,
no worries.
yeah, I
Thanks
mean,
for having me. I appreciate it.
yeah. So, definitely want to get on some runs with you, maybe some
Yeah,
trail runs.
definitely. I need to make the. I know you do a few track workouts, and I need to have that happen because it's nice to throw some of that in the mix because
Yeah.
it helps with training. So
Well, I just ran on the new Fredericksburg middle school track this
yeah,
week. It's a better track than the high school track.
really,
Yeah, I will boldly say that. Like,
huh?
I was very happy with how that went.
Interesting.
So,
I'm gonna have to come run with you and
yeah,
do some track
for
workouts,
sure.
or even some of these road ones that you do. I'll have to tag along.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Whew. Thanks for joining me on this run through the Texas Hill Country. Keep showing up, keep listening, keep following along, because every runner has a story to tell.